Welcome, everyone, to Nightly Newsy News at a new time. And now I see why you ladies in the 80s sprayed the hell out of your hair and kept it out of your face. I have learned my lesson. But if you ever wanted to know what my natural hair color is, it's about as close to this as one can get. Good evening, Christine and Nanny Goat and Tammy Bogard and MLS, Janie J, Audio Coffee, let's see. And Wolfram, our Modly Mod, thank you so much for rolling with the punches and this new time. Welcome, Jedi Jess and Fun Diane. So, our first story is actually really sad. Terry Garr may have been in my favorite Michael Keaton movie, Mr. Mom, and I may have to watch that tonight. But unfortunately, she has passed at 79. I don't want to see her makeup tips. Sorry, I love how the New York Post never has a video corresponding with the, story, you know, that they're going with, because, of course, why would they? Actress Terry Garr has passed away at the age of 79. Her publicist, Heidi Schaefer, confirmed to the Post that Garr died Tuesday morning in Los Angeles after a long battle with MS. She is survived by her daughter, Molly O'Neill, and grandson, Tyron, aged 6. The comedy legend was best known for her roles in films like Young Frankenstein and Tootsie, the latter of which earned her an Oscar nomination. Garr was born on December 11th, 1944, in Lakewood, Ohio. She moved to Los Angeles and later New York to pursue acting. She started out as a go go dancer and made appearances in 6 Elvis Presley projects in the 1960s. Her first on-screen speaking role was in 1986's Head, the Monkees movie written and produced by Jack Nicholson. Some of her other early credits include an appearance on Star Trek, The Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour, and The Dick Van Dyke Show. Let's see, Gar's big break came as with her role as Inga, Dr. Frankenstein's assistant in Mel Brooks' 1974 comedy horror Young Frankenstein. Gene Wilder, Peter Bull, Marty Feldman, and Cloris Leachman also starred in the movie. Also, wonderful movie. I love it. The Brain Was Normal. Abby Normal. Best movie ever. That same year, Garr starred in a Francis Ford Coppola thriller, The Conversation, and she followed that up with Steven Spielberg's 1977 sci-fi film Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Come the 80s, Garr landed a role opposite Dustin Hoffman in the satirical rom-com Tootsie. Her performance as Sandy Lester earned Garr her first and only nomination for an Academy Award. I love Tootsie too. Back before Dennis Hoffman said anything political, and we didn't have Twitter. God, I love that time. Can we go back? I was proud, Garr wrote of her Oscar nomination in her 2005 memoir. Per Speed Bumps, CNN reported, the Academy not only knew I existed, but they thought I was good. In the following 2 decades, Garr starred in hits including The Escape Artist, Mr. Mom, After Hours, Waiting for the Light, Michael, and A Simple Wish. On television, she played Phoebe Abbott in 3 episodes of Friends in 1997 and 1998. Garr also hosted Saturday Night Live 3 times and made appearances on various late-night shows, including The Late Night Show starring Johnny Carson and Late Night with Dave Letterman. Garr's final acting role was in the 2011 TV film How to Marry a Billionaire. In 2002, Garr revealed that she had been secretly battling multiple sclerosis. I really don't think there was any reason to come out and say anything about it, she told Larry King on CNN at the time. I love it. She's got a red, chair, and I love the fun colors that are out there now. I think now the good news is there's a lot of good medicine out there, she said. If I can just help people to feel better. Garr suffered a brain aneurysm in 2006, which left her in a coma for a week. She recovered and briefly returned to acting before retiring in 2011. The late star had one daughter, Molly, from her marriage to John O'Neill. The couple was married from 1993 to 1996. Yeah, I'm not I hate blonde hair. I got this to see if I would like to go back to my natural color, and I didn't want to, ever. My mom always gets so upset because she pays to get her hair blondenated, and I pay to get my hair any color but blondenated. So I'm terribly sorry that she had to deal with such a crippling and painful disease. I'm glad that she came out to show other people that, your life isn't done with that, and hopefully she was surrounded by her daughter and grandson, and she just gets to rest now, because that's a long time to deal with a chronic illness, and wherever she is now, whatever you believe, I hope she is without pain and free from all of the kind of prison her body kept her in for years. Uh, would the operators of Lord Chippy please come up, and we need to get this started. We have a contestant. A Tennessee man is jailed for life without parole for the murder of a kindergarten teacher, Eliza Fletcher. A man accused of the 2002 killing of a Memphis kindergarten teacher has been sentenced to life in prison without parole after pleading guilty to multiple charges, including first-degree murder and aggravated kidnapping. The man, Cleotha Abston, 40, was expecting to go to trial starting February 10th of next year, but gave up his right to appeal Monday, according to a statement released by Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy, bringing a complete end to the more than 2-year case. Quote, today's agreement achieves finality for the family, Mulroy said in a statement, but it also helps the community because this dangerous person will never again walk our streets. He will die in prison, he added. Eliza Fletcher, a mother and kindergarten teacher at St. Mary's Episcopal School, vanished during an early morning run on September 2nd, 2022. When she did not return home, her husband called the police. According to surveillance footage obtained by CNN, Fletcher was chased by a man later identified as Abston near the University of Memphis at approximately 4 a.m. She was then forced into the passenger seat of a black SUV. Details outlined in the affidavit David noted that the SUV remained parked for 4 minutes before it was driven away. Abston was arrested the next day after police found the vehicle near his residence. He attempted to flee but was taken into custody, according to the affidavit. 3 days later, Fletcher's body was found behind a vacant complex 20 minutes from where she was abducted. DNA recovered from a pair of sandals found near the site of the abduction helped investigators identify and arrest Abston, according to the affidavit. Mulroy said that the case had deeply shaken the community. In a statement released by prosecutors on Monday, Fletcher's family addressed Abston directly, saying, quote, you have changed our lives forever. Nothing will ever be the same, end quote. You murdered Lisa even though she did nothing to deserve it. She did not hurt you. In fact, she would have been the first to help you if you needed it. So hopefully, I know nothing will bring the family peace, but hopefully this is closure, at least for the justice side, and they can get to grieving, because I know that it must be incredibly hard to try to grieve and get ready for a court case where you're going to see, all of the crime scene photos, all of the autopsy photos. So at least this gentleman who had, no care when he took their family member spared them from this. Now, another person has also taken a bit of a plea deal. Now, I did not get into this case, but this looks like all the cray-cray. So, an au pair pleads guilty to manslaughter in a Smexy fetish killing conspiracy case, leaving her IRS agent boyfriend to face trial alone. Hoes are never loyal. I mean, what did I just say? When an au pair from Brazil moved to Virginia, her life apparently became dedicated to two things: a romantic affair and homicide. Well, someone has to have dreams. What can I do? Juliana Perez Macalas, 24, was once the live-in nanny at a two-story house on Stablebrook Way in Herndon, a middle-sized town that's part of the broader Washington, D.C. metro area. Her charge was the young daughter of Christine Banfield, 37, and Brendan Banfield, 39. Now, she could spend the next several years behind bars, although such a punishment appears exceedingly unlikely. On Tuesday, Juliana pled guilty to one count of manslaughter in a Fairfax County courtroom, prosecutors announced. The plea deal means the defendant will forego a trial and could potentially put the screws to her alleged partner in crime. Initially, Juliana was the lone alleged culprit in the double slaying of Christine Banfield and Joseph Nathan Ryan, 39, in a semi-mysterious man who died alongside her on the day in question. The au pair was arrested and charged in October 2023 for Ryan's death on one count of murder in the second degree, but that calculus would eventually change. The Stablebrook Way slaughter occurred on February 2023. Then, for several months, law enforcement hung back and investigated. One of the alleged oddities observed by the detectives would prove pivotal in the overarching case. The widower and the nanny began openly expressing affection for one another and carrying on as a couple. Y'all couldn't have waited like 5 months for cereal. Buoying this turn of events was, at least in two senses, photo evidence, newly framed photos of the two alleged co-conspirators together. In what such photo, set up in Banfield's bedroom after the killings, because, why not just take a picture and put it in the place where your wife was unalived? Uh, Really? In the bedroom? The husband and au pair shared an embrace, the nanny's head resting on the IRS special agent's shoulder, both smiling. The upturned grins would not last, though. Doggone it. Last month, Brennan Banfield was convicted on 4 counts of aggravated murder and 1 count of the use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. Juliana was the first person to call 911 that day. She first dialed dispatchers at 7:49 a.m. in what amounted to an open line hangup. Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis said. Some 13 minutes later, Juliana called again and spoke, saying her friend was hurt. Then Brennan Banfield got on the line to say he shot Ryan, claiming the other men entered their home and stabbed his wife. More details came to the fore when Brennan Banfield was indicted in September. Law enforcement now believe that Ryan was snookered by way of a fake profile on a sexual fetish website into showing up at the Banfield resident and acting out a part. Whoever ran that profile, known as a catfish, was posting as Christine Banfield, police allege. They intended to play the role of Patsy. Ryan was eventually found in the room with Christine, and they would both die there. Police would come to refer to Ryan, not necessarily a stranger. The sexual fetish website angle filled in the picture for why his car was parked on the driveway right outside the two-car garage. There was no forced entry whatsoever, Davis told the press on the day of the slayings. This was not a home invasion. Here's what I can say right now with certainty. He did not force entry into the home. I do not know exactly what the nature of his presence in the home is at all about just yet, but we are working hard to determine that. Prosecutors say they found messages on fetish websites between both victims, even one arranging a meeting on the fatal day in question. But law enforcement alleges the way the fake Christine Banfield profile communicated with Ryan did not match the way she spoke otherwise, citing descriptions provided by family and friends. Well, I mean, I'm not going to share with my family and friends if I'm on a fetish website. And I probably wouldn't act the same on a fetish website if I were on one. And dear God, someone please clear my search history when I pass. Tuesday's developments necessarily lock away, and at least for a while, many details or perhaps new or different accounts of how the double homicide went down at the house in Harridan. Earlier today, Juliana Perez Magalhaes pled guilty to manslaughter for shooting and killing Joseph Ryan on the morning of February 24th, 2023. Today's agreement marks a significant step forward in this case, and it is important development in our pursuit of justice for the victims and their families, Fairfax County Commonwealth Attorney Steve Descano said. Much of the information that led to this agreement cannot be made public at this time due to the upcoming criminal trial against another defendant in this matter. Stories in the case have necessarily diverged. To hear the version the defendants told for months, Juliana left the home with the Banfield's daughter in tow around 7:30 a.m. that day, just after Christine Banfield purchased their tickets for the zoo. Then the au pair told police she doubled back because she forgot to grab their lunches and saw a car she didn't recognize in the driveway. A phone call to Christine went unanswered, Juliana said. So she called Brennan Banfield. He happened to be nearby at a McDonald's and quickly rushed home. So you get one missed call, you see a random car in the driveway, and you assume shenanigans? Okay. The trio, father, husband, daughter, and au pair, entered the house. You sick, twisted jerk faces. You let the daughter see this? Absolutely both guilty, directly to Snake Island. The defendants claimed that Ryan was in the bedroom with a naked Christine who had been stabbed repeatedly in the neck. Ryan was then, perforated with a force multiplier already in Brennan Banfield's possession. He just walks around strapped all the time. Well, he is an IRS agent. I guess if I had to admit that, I would stay strapped all the time too. Okay, checks out. Then the husband directed the au pair to retrieve the other gun from a safe in the bathroom closet, and he provided the code. While Brennan Banfield initially said that there was one, he was the one that shot and killed Ryan, Juliana would later admit that she used the second gun to shoot the already shot man in the chest. Another story allegedly diverged. The au pair first said that she and Banfield were not in a romantic relationship, but her attorney later confirmed that they were. The pair claimed in their story that they acted in self-defense, but investigators were immediately suspicious. Now it seems entirely possible that Brennan Banfield's narrative of the killings may be entirely his own. Juliana, for her part, was given a plea deal in exchange for promising to cooperate against Brennan. According to a courtroom report by DC-based NBC affiliate WRC, prosecutors, in fact, told the judge overseeing the matter they intend to recommend an exceedingly light sentence for her, time served, that would conclude at the end of the widower's trial. Juliana technically faces a maximum sentence of 10 years in state prison. Her sentencing hearing is slated for March 21st, 2025. Mr. Banfield's trial is currently scheduled for February 3rd, 2025. If charged as convicted, if convicted as charged, he faces life in prison. So this will definitely be it's not my favorite wig. Not gonna lie. I was trying to see if I wanted to go blonde again for any reason, and no, I do not. Although, again, if you guys want to know what my natural hair color looks like, this is pretty much it, which is a fact that makes my mother cry. Well, you can't have the Colombian marching powder near a school. You'd think a former teacher would know that, but apparently it's teachers acting crazy here lately. A former Wisconsin teacher was sentenced to probation after a little bit of nose clam powder, if you will, was found on him near a school. A former Wisconsin middle school teacher has been sentenced to 1 year of probation following a plea deal for cocaine possession near a school. According to Wisconsin Circuit Court records, 24-year-old Navan A. Larson received a withheld sentence for 1 year probation, meaning jail or prison time is deferred if he complies with probation terms. Larson is required to complete 100 hours of community service, pay court fees, and submit a DNA sample, and maintain full-time employment or education. The charges stem from a May incident when a school resource officer at John Muir Middle School received a tip about possible nose powder in Larson's vehicle. A canine search confirmed the suspicion, and officers reportedly discovered 1 gram of the powdery substance, leading to his arrest and transfer to the Marathon County Jail. Well, sir, look, we all make mistakes. We, all do things that we don't wish to do. Hopefully you can keep your this pun is probably ill and ill-timed, but your nose clean and, make better choices. You can step up from this. This could be your rock bottom, and you know what? You'll go on to do better things and different things, hopefully. I could go as spaghetti and meatballs. I'll just get that actually gives me an idea for another costume. Well, let's see what the new Reese's flavor is cooked up to be. Plans or fans plea with Reese's after crazy new flavor is leaked. Don't play with my emotions. Well, I too am partial to Reese's, so let's see what we're doing. Reese's has already had a great year with fans going wild for new creations like the Jumbo Cup released in May, but it looks like the brand may be stepping up its game in 2025. A new variation on the classic peanut butter cups is reportedly on its way, and fans are super hyped. Food influencer Snacks with Zach shared the news in a video on Instagram, writing, Reese's is set to release a crazy new peanut butter and jelly peanut butter cup in 2025. I mean, don't call m okay, strawberry or grape, though, because I think ooh, it looks like you have both. Well, don't call me late for the Reese's cup. Uh, I'm just saying. The new PBJ cup is also expected to come in 2 flavors, with Zach saying, "You've got grape, you've got strawberry, so it's the best of both worlds." He stated that the new treats will likely hit stores sometime in February, with the bulk of the release dropping in April. It's safe to say that fans are hyped about the new PB&J candy, with enthusiastic replies like, "Wait, this is brilliant, and don't play with my emotions like this. Is this really for real?" In response to the latter comment, Zach confirmed, "Indeed legit." Considering some brands like Lay's share fake flavors with fans sometimes, it's not surprising that fans might question such a unique new Reese's flavor. Quote, "I'll be gorging on these," declared someone else who commented, "Peanut butter and jelly Reese's cup, nature is healing, definitely gonna try, love anything with peanut butter, and the best news of the week already." While fans have to wait a little bit longer before they can try the new peanut butter and jelly variation of Reese's, there are still a lot of recent releases that are worth checking out, such as the Reese's Chocolate Lava Big Cup. Those things are messy. I'm going to tell you, I tried one and it's like chocolate syrup at the bottom. It's a mess. Now, to be fair, it was also a whole lot of sugar, and my body doesn't process sugar like it used to because I'm not eating as much of it, so I was like, "Oh, that's a whole lot of everything." But it was quite good, but it exactly very, very, messy with the chocolate sauce on the bottom. What in the Sarah Boone is this man trying to do? A man who would zap wife when she didn't answer questions about cheating receives his fate. I have a suggestion. Let's see if I can find it. Snake Island with your taser. See how it works out for you, buddy. Oh, I didn't mean double Snake Island. The man who electrocuted and tortured his wife in a Michigan basement after he accused her of cheating on him will spend the next 14 to 30 years in prison. I am not upset about this at all. Saul Lucio Impina, 32, was sentenced Monday after pleading no contest to 2 counts of torture and witness interference earlier this month, according to M Live, the Grand Rapids Press. A no contest plea is not an admission of guilt, but is treated as such during sentencing. Quote, anyone who would do this type of thing, I think is a danger in general, said Judge George Quay Quist, per local NBC affiliate WOOD. This is some of the most egregious conduct I've ever seen in this court. Uh, the gentleman addressed the court. Quote, I would like to apologize to my victim, first of all, and everyone that I hurt in this process, which is my entire family and community. Can I get out of prison now? Because I doubt he really feels this. If he were given time to be alone with her again, then, if she didn't say anything that he liked, I'm sure he would do this again. As Law and Crime previously reported, the defendant made a plea after the first day of the trial in Grand Rapids. He faced charges related to two incidents that occurred last year in the couple's basement. The woman who has since divorced him described to the jury the horrific abuse she suffered at the hands of her husband. A court report from MLive said the first incident reportedly happened in January 2023. He accused her of cheating and forced her to the basement where he had a bucket on the floor and a rope hung on the ceiling beam. He made her stand on top of the bucket and put the rope around her neck, she reportedly testified. At one point, she slipped off the bucket and hung in the air, she reportedly said, only for her husband to take her down. Then, about 2 months later, during another argument about infidelity, he again took her down to the basement where he forced her into a children's swing that hung from the ceiling. He tied me up with rope and metal wire around my arms and through my back. I couldn't get up if I wanted to, she reportedly testified. The terrifying, DV continued. She said that he hooked up jumper cables to the exposed wire, causing her to be electrocuted. Anytime I would answer a question or didn't answer a question, he would zap me, she reportedly told jurors. Lucino Impina had her tied up for 5 hours before he got quote unquote tired and released her. She reported the incident a couple days later and the cops arrested him. The aforementioned incidents were undoubtedly torture, Kent County Assistant Prosecutor Angela Curtis reportedly told jurors during her opening statement. Quote, his intent was to inflict as much pain and suffering as possible, Curtis reportedly said. By the end of the first day of opening statements and testimony, he apparently had seen enough and entered a no contest plea. Per jail records, there is an immigration hold on him. Yeah, no, never mind. Snake Island, no. Set to extra slow, my wonderful, wonderful attendants. He's in there for 14 to 30 years. Now, I don't know what Michigan's good time ratios are. So I don't know how long he's going to be there, in theory with their good time, if he's even able to get good time. And thank you, Squab Bob, for gifting one membership. And that went to tiaras and titles. Where did I love when I try to organize my desk and then I forget where I put everything, which is a little bit defeating. And tiaras and titles, welcome to the Church of Mo. We have dark chocolate, sarcasm, and, well, a couple maladaptive coping mechanisms that include grave humor. But, we're doing okay over here. And not tax exempt yet, but we are working on it, dang it. We are working on it. In some good news, or good for, Colin Farrell, who honestly, I think has turned out to be a pretty okay Hollywood person. Colin Farrell finishes Dublin Marathon while pushing friend in a wheelchair. Quote, she epitomizes bravery. The Penguin star and his friend, Emma Fogarty, who has a skin condition called epidermolysis bullosa, or EB, raised over $850,000 for charity, Deborah Ireland can confirm. Colin Farrell had an emotional weekend as he completed the Irish Life Dublin Marathon with friend Emma Fogarty. The duo raised more than $850,000 for a charity, Deborah Ireland, as they participated in the race on Sunday, October 27th, with Farrell, 48, pushing Fogarty, 40, in her wheelchair for the last 2.5 miles and across the finish line per Irish Central. Photos from the last stretch of the race showed the Banshees of Inishin. Look, I do not speak Irish, even though I burn in the sun or the, you know, brilliance of a 60-watt bulb like an Irishman. I cannot say things there. Uh, Actor was smiling as he pushed Fogarty, who has a rare genetic skin condition uh, called EB, while she was seen cheering with her arms in the air. Farrell finished in just over 4 hours, according to multiple outlets. And after sharing a hug with Fogarty following the race, he joked, "Should we go again?" as seen in video footage from the finish line posted on X. Farrell said in a statement after the race, per the Irish Times, "I've known Emma for many years and she epitomizes bravery. She is what courage and pure determination are all about." He went on to say the marathon was nothing compared to the pain that Fogarty is forced to endure every single day, even though she doesn't show it. "It was an honor seeing her waiting for me with 4 kilometers to go, each of those representing a decade of her life, and to do the final stretch together. I'll never forget it." Every euro of the money raised by Farrell and Fogarty, according to the Deborah Ireland charity, will continue to fund vital research and provide critical services to transform the lives of those living with EB, also known as butterfly skin. So, what happens is that she has very sensitive skin. It almost looks like it's burnt. It, I think, used to be called Harlequin's disease, but they've changed it, so very easy to tear, very easy. It looks almost like you have burns. You have to apply a lot of barrier cream. You can't be out in the sun. It's incredibly difficult and painful. The marathon also marked the 40th celebration, or 40th birthday celebration for Fogarty, which is a milestone that not many people with her condition achieve. Fogarty, a patient ambassador of of Deborah Ireland, appears on Ireland's The Late Late Show earlier this month alongside Farrell, where the actor said he was pushing Fogarty 1 kilometer for every decade of her life, adding up to 4 kilometers or 2.5 miles total. When asked what having Farrell by her side at the race meant to her, Fogarty said a lot and added, "We're really close. We get along really well. We have a laugh and we enjoy each other's company. And I trust no one apart from my family more than you to push me the last 4 kilometers," she told her longtime friend amid applause from the crowd. So, what an awesome thing to do. Uh, and, to really raise awareness of, a lot of these kind of orphan diseases, these kind of, rare uh, conditions don't get a lot of, attention. They don't get a lot of funding. And a lot of doctors don't even know about them, or they've never seen them beyond, in a textbook in medical school, which they promptly have forgotten because it is so rare and they are not used to looking at these things. So, what an awesome thing to kind of put in the spotlight and maybe get some more attention to. Well, everyone get your gummies because apparently this is a psychedelic, kind of art installation. A wild art show has visitors tripping out and staring into strangers' eyes. It's amazing. I don't want to stare deeply into a stranger's eyes. No, thank you. I don't even like hugs. I'm not going to stare deeply into a stranger's eye. Think that's just a social thing we just don't do. What are you looking at? A mysterious art show is tricking New Yorkers into tripping out and staring into each other's eyes. The wild exhibit, Bobby Anspach, The Beautiful Nothing, features a pair of kooky contraptions, tangles of wires, lights, and colorful pom poms that look like something out of a mad scientist built with junkyard straps or scraps. And yeah, no, just no, thank you. Uh, or a child designed using materials in their playroom. Take note that the late artist Anspach had a penchant for using pom poms. I mean, who wouldn't use a bunch of pom poms? Why not add glitter? This looks like my kid's room exploded. Visitors to the dazzling display, consisting of two fantastical installations from his wild, quote, or places for continuous eye contact series, pair up and step into an enclosed tent covered in vibrant pom poms with two seats facing each other. That would be a hell no. The fully engulfed participants gaze at each other while draped in pom pom blankets and engulfed by a tall hanging helmet covered in fuzzy orbs. Sounds like a cult. Where are people with the ping pong? What in the name of Hades and heroin is this crap? There are not enough gummies in the world to get Mo here. There just aren't. Not ever. I just couldn't. Oh, dear Lord. Reservations can be made online, but plenty of people wander in off the street when the strange scene attacks their attention through glass windows, and they end up staring into a stranger's eye in the tent. Sarah Atri was pulled into the space by her 11-year-old daughter, Tamara, an art fanatic who was fascinated by the pieces and sat patiently on the floor as she awaited her turn, mesmerized by the artistic spectacle. The mother daughter duo was visiting from Mexico City and sat across from one another, barely discernible from each other among the pom poms during their mind blowing experience. It makes you travel through colors and suddenly you disappear, the elder Autry told the Post. It's quite amazing. This looks terrifying to me. This looks like what inner chaos in my mind looks like. And I don't need any more, visual representations. I have enough. What? This is just no. I rarely see things that I'm like a hell no to begin with, but strangers looking deeply in strangers' eyes, covered in chaos, this is worse than those screaming, yoga bowls. Just not good. While everyone is led through the experience by a guide, mostly actors trained to manage all of that it entails, you are given minimal information about what to expect. You put an eye patch on one eye, place a pair of headphones over your ears, and listen to a curated playlist and stare straight ahead until the guide revive or retrieves you after 3.5 minutes. Visitor Anne Hogan had a powerful and surreal experience unlike anything she'd ever encountered, and said she described her solo experience as uh, compared to stepping into a dream or a hallucinogenic journey. It was fascinating to stare at myself in the space, said. It invited deep self reflection while making me feel part of something much larger. Yes, a terrifying attack of koosh balls. Some have entered their encounter with dance of glee, while other emotional visitors have left in tears. Two people who were particularly moved by just being in the space are Bobby Anspach's parents, Jane and Bob, who are doing what they can to honor the memory of their son, Robert J. Bobby Anspach. Okay, all right, I take it back. It's still weird, but congratulations and good on you, parents, for bringing this whole experience to life for your son. Still don't get it. Still really, really don't get it, but good mom and dad. The artist struggled with his mental health and unfortunately drowned in Beacon, New York in July 2022 at the age of 34. Yeah, no, this looks like it just looks like chaos and anxiety to me. As much as I love glitter and, all the crazy colors, it just looks a lot like chaos to me, and it just would not be my jam. His parents started the Bobby Anspach Studio Foundation and have taken his installations across New York and to continue his life work. He was a giver and wanted to give this gift of hope to people, Jane told the Post. He thought this could cure the world. Well, he's doing his part and he's doing what he thought would be good. Well, The Simpsons are going to reveal a dark secret about Homer after 35 years. Is it going to be a trick? Probably. The Simpsons finally solve a big mystery about Homer after 35 years. Though 36 seasons later, The Simpsons has finally explained the puzzling mystery of the lead character. During Sunday's episode of the animated show, it was finally revealed how Homer Simpson has managed to keep his job despite being a poor employee. Since the series debut in 1989, Homer has never been fired from Springfield Nuclear Power Plant owned by Mr. Burns, even after his many errors on the job. In the latest episode titled Shoddy Heat, it is explained that Homer's dad, Abe Simpson, made a deal to ensure his son never ended up unemployed. Flashbacks show Abe worked as a private investigator after his partner, Bill O'Donnell, goes missing. Mr. Byrne ominously tells Abe that Billy took a one-way ticket to paradise. Mr. Burns then promises Abe that he'll give Homer a lifelong job at the power plant in exchange for Abe ending the investigation into Billy's disappearance. The show's the showrunner Al Jean teased the big reveal about Homer on X days before the episode aired. Sunday at or a new at The Simpsons will solve the mystery that has puzzled at least me since the beginning of the show. Viewers had a positive response toward the big reveal, sharing their reactions on X. Kudos to the new episode for revealing the answer to the question, how come Homer never got fired from his job despite all the mistakes he makes? The most surprisingly weird, wholesome fashion possible. Wow, so that's why Homer has never been fired from his job no matter how much he screwed up, another one said. The Simpsons returned for season 36 last month and quickly got internet abuzz because the show dubbed the episode series finale, leaving viewers confused. But the show later revealed that the entire storyline of the episode was generated by artificial intelligence. Showrunner Matt Selman told People that the idea for the tricky episode, how the tricky episode idea came to be. I was in New Zealand and the writer's strike ended, so I immediately started working on the show again in New Zealand a year ago, he explained. And part of doing that press for season 35, which was about to start, and a question you always get doing press is what would you do for a last season or a last episode of the show? I always felt like there was no good answer to that question because the show was never meant to end. It was meant to go on forever. It was meant to make fun of the idea of last episodes and everything we do. Every episode is both a first and last episode of the show. Interesting. I have not watched Simpsons until it got pretty stupid. So maybe after season 12, I stopped. When they took out Apu, I was just heartbroken and I'm just done. In our final story, a Halloween crab stows away on a plane from Costa Rica to Denver. Well, that's one way to change your, locality. Although, why would you want to go to Denver when you live in Costa Rica? A Halloween crab that stowed away on a flight from Costa Rica to Denver International Airport has a new home at the Denver Zoo. The Denver Zoo Conservation Alliance said on social media that a flight crew had discovered a blackback land crab, also known as a Halloween crab, moon crab, a Bermuda land crab, was found by a flight crew after a plane from Costa Rica landed in Denver. Thanks to our amazing conservation partners at U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, the crab has found a safe and cozy home with us at the Denver Zoo Conservation Alliance. The crab's arrival came just in time for Halloween. To lean into the Halloween spirit, you can catch this crab in our Animal Ambassador demonstrations area at the Gates Amphitheater all month long. After October, it will scuttle over to its permanent home in the Tropical Discovery area, where you can continue to learn about this charming crustacean. He had Broncos tickets. That's probably right. It's one of those snowbird crabs that wanted to go where it's cooler. Thank you guys so much for joining me at this new time. That is great that you guys were all, well, catching crabs. I guess, yeah, could be phrasing. Thank you all for joining me, and she is not done, but she is looking fabulous. Petty Ann. is getting all rhinestoned up. I have the little logo on there. Mr. Mo is like, "You're incredibly proud of yourself, aren't you?" I might make her wings. I might get clay tomorrow. I need to be stopped. But Petty Ann is coming together, and our moral hornicorn will be ready whenever we decide to get on our high horse. So, always good. And one final thing, okay, each and every one of you need to get one of these. It's a tiny violin and it plays music because I am a nerd. Now, why I didn't have this for Sarah today, I don't know. But oh my gosh, this is going on my keychain. And then whenever any one of my teen daughters starts complaining, I will be playing with this. This is not allowed. I should not be allowed to buy things I find hilarious on the internet because this leads to too many random things. Mr. Mo is like, "You're proud of yourself for that, aren't you?" And I was like, "Exceedingly." So I am not sending you guys anywhere. You are free to go wherever you want. Have a lovely evening. I will see you in the morning, like always. And uh, no, this is actually a blue diamond. I didn't realize it at first, but I definitely got a Sailor Moon ring. My husband was able to, he has a jeweler friend, and when we were getting married, I wanted something unique, and we were able to get a pretty good deal. And then I continuously lose it, because either my ring is or my fingers are swelling, or I take it off for a craft and I don't remember it. So I am trying to be a functional human being and put it back in my jewelry case every night, and that happens about 76% of the time, which is better than last year. So, small goals, small movements forward into being a functional human. Have a lovely evening, you guys. I am going to let you go. I am going to go check on the boys and make sure they've got their homework done and showers, which is probably a no since I'm not out there to yell at them. Bye, you guys.